I want to know who among the candidates here, if you could just raise your hand if you're willing to sign taxes to increase revenue from nonprofit institutions that are currently tax exempt. If you're willing to do so, please raise your hand.
Okay, thank you. Next question.
Good evening. My question is to your panel. How will you attract business to the city of Baltimore? We don't have any Fortune 500s. We chase business, we chase customers out of downtown with incredible meters. What is your plan to attract business to the city of Baltimore?
So let Mary Washington address the question.
Thank you. We already have a lot of businesses in Baltimore. One of the things that I would do as mayor, we have a lot of incubators, we have a lot of small businesses. One of the things we could do right away would be to incentivize those small incubators staying here. We end up creating new businesses for other cities and other states, so we need to invest in those. We also have a lot of, again, a very lively arts community. We have some very small, light manufacturing, so we can really invest in those. So yeah, we could try to bring people from the outside, but we need to really invest right here in who we have at home. And that really lays the foundation of my firm belief that all of the answers that we have to address our issues as Baltimore City are right here among us, that are right here in this room, and we have that power to solve our own problems.
Thank you. For the next question.
Yeah, I have a question that goes to probably everybody in the room, along with all the candidates. My question goes to how do we actually perform recycling in the city of Baltimore? I know that Indonesia and China in the last 3 years has dropped out of receiving our recycling. And I know this is a problem all over the country, but one of the things that I've always admired about my city is that we historically have been first in a lot of things. So this is my question. How will we actually create the ability to retrain, refurbish, and to restore, repair, reuse recycled materials and manufacture them into new products?
Thank you.
In Baltimore City.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Yes, to answer that question, despite Indonesia, China, and the like deciding not to import waste from us, we actually can deal with that at home. The problem with recycling right now across the country and in Baltimore is that we've depended on everyone else to do it. It's actually cheaper to build the recycling facilities, the composting facilities, and the like than it is to burn the trash and lead to millions of pounds of pollution every year from our trash incinerator right down near the casino. So what we actually need to do is invest in ourselves, as Mary said, to actually create those businesses that are revolving around recycling, reuse, reconstruction, and the like. As I mentioned, a 70% recycling rate in the city alone creates 4,000 new jobs. Nationally, that's 2.3 million full-time jobs. And that's because we've just handled the way we throw out stuff differently. Those are green-collar jobs, those are unionized jobs, those are living wage jobs, those are the jobs that we need for the city, and that's what I want.
Thank you. Can I ask a question? Can you direct your question to one of the candidates here?
Yes, I was feeling awkward that I was going to direct it at someone, so thank you. Mr. Vignaraja, you said you want to give full scholarships to every high school graduate. A, how on earth would you fund that? And B, how do you guarantee they stay in Baltimore once they have that education?
It's a great question, and not only did I say I was going to guarantee free college for every graduate of a Baltimore City public high school and any institution in the state of Maryland, I said I was going to do it while cutting property taxes in half as well. So let's be clear about why it is so feasible to do. Community colleges are already free. Trade schools cost a nickel on the dollar. Our in-state tuition for Maryland residents is as competitive as any in the country. College Park is the most expensive. 4 years into College Park, your average student loan debt is about $27,000 in change. So it's about $7,000 per year per person. And our private universities, Loyola, Goucher, Hopkins, they give a huge amount of need-based aid, and there's a lot of need. A couple years ago, 12 kids went from Baltimore City Public High Schools to Hopkins. Every single one of them got a free ride. So that's the reason why it's feasible, but let me tell you the tragic reason it's feasible. Because at $7,000 per person per year, let's make it $10,000 per person per year. We only graduate 4,000 kids from Baltimore City Public High Schools. Only 1,000 of them even start college. So if you do the math, 1,000 kids times $10,000, we're talking about $10 million a year. We spent $47 million on police overtime. For a quarter of that, we could send a signal that every kid from a Baltimore City Public High School could go to any institution in the state of Maryland.
Hi, I'm Megan Shook. I've heard a lot of really inspiring ideas from the candidates tonight. And the need for businesses and jobs, small businesses and jobs has been often spoken of. Our downtown is in trouble. The Inner Harbor properties, the harbor places in receivership. What do you think of the idea of providing free parking downtown at night and on the weekends? So when people want to go to restaurants and theaters and so forth, they would be more attractive. What do you think of that idea? Do you think Baltimore could do that?
Yes, Baltimore can do it. Currently, Baltimore has meters and parking in different communities where you pay different prices. My office is on Maryland Avenue. Up in this community, you pay 25 cents, you get an hour. Downtown, you have to pay $4 for an hour. So first of all, we need to equalize it so that no matter where you park, you should be able to pay a quarter or 10 or 50 cents. I totally agree. On the weekends, in order to attract people, we can do this. But the other piece of that is it's multiple things that are going on. Not only do we have to change what people pay to park, but we also have to look at where these speed cameras are in certain communities. We had committed, the city, now I wasn't there when they did this new plan, that meters would be by schools. And now meters are all over the place in the city because we need to do an extensive audit in the Department of Transportation to look at where the waste is so that we can do exactly what you said. But I agree, and it can be done.
When you finish about your question, would you point out a candidate that you would like to address it?
I would like to direct this question to Ms. Dixon. So, Ms. Dixon, we have a lot of individuals who are leaving Baltimore City, and there used to be a rule that if you work for the city, you live in the city. And I'd like to know how you would reestablish that rule that qualified individuals in Baltimore City receive first preference to Baltimore City jobs, and also how would you improve the customer service for Baltimore City government for our residents?
So, the city council, the 14-member city council passed a bill that requires if you are a director or a manager of a department, you now have to live in the city. But let me say this, because I don't disagree with you. I've lived in the city my whole life. I've worked in the city. There are people who are using other addresses in the city, but they really don't live in the city. They're living in the county, but that's another issue. But what we have to do is, with our universities and colleges, when we talk about keeping young people here in the city, we have to go to those universities and college and attract them. We had a college program. That's why I go back to talk about when things are in place and you have a system that's working. We were networking with the colleges, attracting those individuals to come and work in city government, our various departments, to share new innovative ideas. We had internships. If we can attract, because we're a college city, individuals to work in city government with senior individuals who are there to train them, to prepare them, to provide incentive, not only with Hopkins and University of Maryland, but through US, it's a program where now, if you live in certain communities in the city, they will provide support and assistance in buying a home in that community. So we need to do some collaboration and connecting the dots with those programs. But the council did pass where certain individuals at a certain level and income, but most of your hard-working, minimum workers still live in Baltimore City.
Ken, would you address the question to a candidate?
John Barber, Mr. Scott. I know you have a crime plan in place because I've read it. It's a good one. Are you frustrated for going years without having a crime plan, or not having local control of the police department, or not having police redistricting based on population?
Thank you for that, John. If you haven't seen it, you can find my crime plan at brandonfrombaltimore.com. Yes, that's part of the reason why I'm running. The frustration of the citizens of Baltimore is my frustration, right? So now, for 2 mayors, I've been demanding for the mayor to have a crime plan, and they haven't had one. What you see on the streets of Baltimore right now is a result of the failed leadership of the past 2 mayors, where there's no plan and no action plan for what the agencies are going to be doing each and every day. This is what you get. So I'm very frustrated by that, John, each and every day. Because listen, in Baltimore, the agencies work for the mayor, especially the police department, because the police department is a state agency. I've been leading the fight since I've been on the city council to have the police department become a local agency and no longer be a state agency. Thank you, Senator, for your support for that last year. But also, when you talk about police redistricting, where we are right now is in one of the larger districts, right? We're talking about districts that haven't been redrawn since 1959. Ken Harris brought it up in 2005 when I was a junior in college. And it took for me to get elected, to get one of my friends elected to the House of Delegates, and we passed it through the House, 139-0 in 2017, only for the now former mayor to kill it on the Senate side. And last year, after my good friend Corey McCray made it to be senator, for that to happen. So that now, after the census, we will redistrict our population so that you are getting your police department protection and your services based on the very neighborhood that you live in today. And that's very frustrating for me, but that's also all a part of our plan, building public safety in Baltimore, which is the most comprehensive crime plan you will ever see. Thank you.
Would you direct your question to one of the candidates?